Welcome back to Orange Hat, folks. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, Daisy Ridley is doing some damage control for Disney. Says claims that Star Wars fans are sexist have been blown out of proportion. Now, this comes from Bounding into Comics. Shout out to Spencer, who is the author. In making a break from popular narrative pushed by everyone from mainstream news outlets to franchise actors to the House of Mouse itself, Daisy Ridley claimed to disagree with the idea that the Star Wars fandom, particularly the subsect that rejected Disney's handling of the IP, is a wretched hive of sexism and misogyny. Love what you did there, Spence, with the wretched hive pun from Star Wars. But let's call a spade a spade. There's no way this is anything but a desperate attempt by the House of Mouse to win back the same franchise fans they pushed away and insulted now that its reputation and financial pull is in the dumpster. Now, that could be true. That could not be true. We don't know. Because believe it or not, they have allowed some of their own actors to speak for themselves and not on the behalf. So, further on, the actress offered this ostensible RR spin while discussing the upcoming Return to a Galaxy Far, Far Away, January 25th appearance on NBC's Today Show. Therein, she shared her excitement towards being asked to reprise her role as Rey. Ridley was pressed by the host Dylan Dreyer for her thoughts on the fact that, speaking of Charmin Chinoy, there are some of the, I would say, extreme Star Wars fans who have made this a conversation on the internet about how they don't want a female director, which Dreyer opined seems bizarre because of the episodes of The Mandalorian were directed by females. Kathleen Kennedy has been overseeing all this. Yeah, except, here's the thing. It had nothing to do with them being female. And everything with them saying shit that is pushing people away. I don't care if they are a female. I don't care if they are a male. Because I am one of the people that they are generalizing in this thing. Because I am a denouncer of Disney's run of Star Wars. In turn, Ridley asserted, I think my take is things get blown out of proportion and interactions that I have had with people have been nothing but wonderful and supportive. And honestly, the day that we announced that I was coming back at Star Wars Celebration last year, you cannot imagine the joy and goodwill in that room. I've only ever been embraced, and I think we're going to make a great film for people. Notably, this is not the first time in recent weeks that Ridley has appeared to push back against the media's favorite defense narrative against Star Wars' currently abysmal level of quality. Earlier this month, asked by French entertainment news outlet, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, Alicine, if she could recall how she felt during the surprise unveiling of Rey film last year, the actress detailed it was wonderful. And the thing about these conventions are everyone is really lovely, and everyone's really lovely to each other. I think a lot of the time people online sort of make out there was discourse or whatever it is that actually isn't shared by a lot of people, and my experience has always been very welcomed. People have been very kind. Even if they wanted a story to go here or there or everywhere. She concluded her thoughts on Rey's movie reveal. She added, it's always like a conversation that's respectful. So, she's been exposed to the more respectful side of it. Sure, and that's fine. And I'm glad that she has had that exposure. However, I will admit, there are some idiots out there who who do put a whole frickin' sexist twist on it, and who do also sometimes put a racist twist on it. But those people are so few and far between. However, it goes back to what I've always said, folks. organizations, groups, freaking political parties, down to just businesses. All of those things, all those group masses of people are always misrepresented by their worst representatives. Because people are always looking for the negative, unfortunately. They don't seem to look for the positive. Me, I find a little bit of positive in the Disney trilogy. There is a little bit of entertainment value. However, it is not enough to say that those movies are good. They're not even guilty pleasures to me. I watch them maybe once a year just to inoculate myself just enough to be able to put up with the Disney horse shit. But continuing on. Unfortunately for Ridley, this heel turn falls flat in light of the fact that during the heyday of Disney Star Wars discourse in 2016, the actress publicly pushed the idea that any and all criticism of Rey as a Mary Sue was inherently rooted in sexism. A person can indeed change their minds. It happens with everybody, folks. It happens with me. It happens with you. It happens with everybody. So it may fall flat due to previous statements. However, she may have indeed had a genuine change of heart. You never know. Now, the Mary Sue thing in itself is sexist because it's the name of a woman, she told entertainment reporter Josh Horowitz on the episode of Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. And everyone was saying that Luke had the exact same abilities. I think Rey's incredible, vulnerable, and nothing she's doing is for the greater good. She's just doing what she thinks is the right thing. And she doesn't want to do some of it. But she feels compelled to do it. For me, I was just confused. So, yeah, she had said, I do remember she had said those things back then. And, well, that's the thing. That could have been Disney, basically, at the time, throwing the, if you don't like it, you're sexist narrative at fans. Or it could have been her personal thoughts. Honestly, it's not enough to get me to watch Disney Star Wars again. And I'm sorry, I feel that they have irreparably damaged and ruined the Star Wars experience for many people going forward. Me, I will always have the George Lucas prequel and original trilogies and the EU books that I enjoy to read. I will always watch them with enjoyment because in a way I can mentally separate all of Disney's taint and all of Dave Filoni's taint from that content. I preferred the Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars, Clone Wars, in between episodes 2 and 3. I prefer the novels that also fell in line with some of Genndy Tartakovsky's stuff. I prefer those stories in the EU about how the Mandalorians were not this pacifistic nation. How they were actually how they have always been, and how Jango Fett was a Mandalorian, and is a Mandalorian, even in death. And how Boba Fett was a Mandalorian, however, he didn't want to be Mandalore. But he did take up the the title of it. Anyway, folks, those are my thoughts. As for Daisy Ridley, hey, if those are your genuine thoughts, Daisy, good on you. It's good that you actually had some self-reflection. If those are just shit that Disney's telling you to say, well, you're coming across as many in Hollywood, which is shallow and hollow. Because it just shows that you will say anything to get the money. I'm hoping that the former is true. But I'm sorry, unfortunately, I will not be watching the Star Wars movies that are coming. I don't have any interest in Disney Star Wars. And it has nothing to do with the fact that you're a freaking woman. It has nothing to do with the fact that it has a female director. It has everything to do with the actions that individuals have taken. Your character, unfortunately, was not written right. In fact, the character of Rey was written very poorly. And you yourself have admitted there was very little communication in between the movies and that there was no plan. When George Lucas's trilogies were made, he had the whole thing planned out. And that is why those movies are so beloved. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for these movies that Disney has made. The only one that had any sort of real objective quality was Rogue One. However, yes, it also has its very large flaws as well. But that one at least had a Star Wars feel to it. These other ones didn't. And it had nothing to do with females, males, sexuality, or anything like that. Well, actually, it did have a little bit to do with the sexuality aspect in Episode 9, because honestly, that shit doesn't belong in Star Wars. Honestly, though, the movies just were not good. They didn't resonate with fans that have been fans for a very long time, and some fans, yes, who have been fans for a very long time, did enjoy them. But me, I did not. I thought the movies were very poorly written. I thought the stories were pushing more anti-capitalist agenda in the second one. There was allegory in the first two trilogies. However, in the third one, it was no longer allegorical. It was overtly there. And that is why I do not like the Disney stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, folks, I got another video coming out on Daisy Ridley in a little bit, where she's actually defending the director that they're using for the Rey movie. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. What did you think of this, or of Daisy Ridley actually speaking out against the narrative? Let me know your thoughts. What do you think she is for, or she's doing it for Disney, or do you think that those are actually her genuine thoughts? Let me know, folks. This has been Orange Hat. You all have a wonderful day. Stay humble.